It's been a year since that ferocious and deadly tornado ripped through Moore, Oklahoma. Dale Hurd reports on the town's recovery and rebuilding effort.
On May 20 last year, a monster storm appeared on the Oklahoma horizon, and it was barreling straight toward the city of Moore. An EF5 tornado with winds of over 200 miles an hour.
Oh my God!
In its path, Briarwood Elementary School.
It was huge. It was probably 1.5 miles wide, half a mile away, and at that moment it was real.
You could hear it coming. There was a very surreal pelting.
I got on top of as many kids that I could put my arms over. The wall fell on top of me and knocked me unconscious immediately. And at that moment, I thought that I didn't make it. I thought my daughter was looking at me, and I wasn't there.
She did make it, along with everyone else at Briarwood Elementary. But 7 children died at Plaza Towers Elementary. All totaled, 24 killed in Moore, hundreds injured, and more than 1,000 homes damaged.
The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
1 year later, the town is still rebuilding, and CBN's Operation Blessing has been there to help. Drive through Moore today and you see recovery, new homes, businesses, and soon a new Briarwood Elementary School.
It was just awesome, the way that people lifted us up. And in the days after, it just felt like a hand on our back, holding us up. We've just come back stronger.
Dale Hurd, CBN News.
And joining us to talk about the rebuilding effort in Moore, Oklahoma is Jody Geddes with Operation Blessing International. Welcome, Jody.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Yeah, appreciate your time today. Now, Operation Blessing's disaster relief teams, they were on the ground almost immediately in Oklahoma after the disaster hit. How long did that relief effort go on?
Yeah, absolutely. We were actually responding to a tornado in Texas, and we were on the ground in Moore within hours of the storm hitting. And so when we arrived, it looked like the end of the world. And we were there for 4.5, 5 months.
Wow. Describe a little bit more what you saw when you guys first got there.
Yeah, I'll never forget riding down the interstate and entering into Moore, Oklahoma. Right off the interstate, we saw the movie theater and a couple big buildings, and literally it looked like a monster had crushed the buildings like you would see on television. It looked like the end of the world. And so it was some significant devastation, very severe, and just saw so many people's lives affected during that time.
Talk a little bit about some of the stories of the people that you worked with, stories that really stood out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's heart-wrenching what we do, but it's also incredibly rewarding to be able to know that you can bring hope and the love of Christ in some very desperate situations that man cannot fix. And one in particular was a family who had lost a child in the Plaza Towers Elementary School. Their son was 10 years old and they had lost him, and both of their other children were elementary school age and were in the school at the same time. And the mom used to go every single day to the foundation, because that's all that was left of the school, and visit that foundation. She would weep, she would pray, but that's where she found peace. She found God there, and she found comfort there. And the day came where they had to demolish that so they could begin to rebuild. And she was crushed. She was devastated. And so we thought, well, what can we do to help this mother? We can't give the life of a son back. And we met with the family and asked them for a dream list. What are some things that would help comfort you? And they really couldn't spell out anything, but when we thought about it, we thought, well, could we make a memorial? So we created a memorial in their backyard, but we wanted it to be something of hope, not just to remember the death, but the life and the resurrection and the love. So we built a memorial wall there. Now, I'll never forget surprising that family, because usually we're surprising a family with a new home or something like that. And we took the family into the backyard, and they saw the memorial garden, the prayer wall, the fountain. And I remember when the oldest son came out, and he had his football pads on still from practice. Again, he's elementary school age. He walked down, and it's like he sucked all the air out of the backyard.
Wow.
And he began to weep and he began to cry. The little girl, who was the youngest, stood there at the prayer wall till midnight that night. And it was something that was so significant, you really can't put words to it, but it impacted a family for a lifetime. So when Operation Blessing is there, we're not just building walls and bricks and mortar and all of that, but we're touching hearts and changing lives. And sometimes it's as simple as building a memorial wall in a backyard of a family's home.
Very, very true. You guys are like everywhere, and you do such a great job. We commend you for your efforts. Jody Geddes with Operation Blessing International. Thanks again, Jody, for being with us.
Thank you, Mark.